Okay, so they they made some mage changes, a lot of mage changes this patch, and they were not cooking. A lot of these are actually rather bad, so we'll go over that. To start though, I do like this. I do like this. Your slippery sling also gives 40% move speed during evocation. This is the thing that gives you 40% move speed during altar. Giving you move speed during evocation and altar makes the talent feel kind of nice, to be honest. Will this ever be useful? Not really. Won't be that impactful. But will it be nice? Yes. Yes, it will. Like for instance, when you're doing Smolder on and you're evocating during the time you pick up your orbs to not have downtime, this would make that faster and better. So I like that. They fixed a major bug with Spellslingers. Now Frost and Arcane, you can probably test it, well. They made them scale with Mastery, which is good because if you played non-GS Spellslinger, you were potentially at a loss for not really investing in Mastery. But now that's probably not true. They mega nerf fire, basically. This is just all fire nerfs. Well, once we get to fire, you'll see it. But yeah, mega nerf fire. Arcane, they said they were making new arcane talents. Yeah, this wasn't really what I had in mind. We were kind of hoping they would remove the flat damage talents. Instead, they just like added, they doubled them. Okay, interesting. Don't know why they did that. And they kept these in here too, in the same position. Really not a fan. We don't need these boring talents. Just remove them from the tree, and then we can maybe actually take utility. Now you just made it harder to take utility, which was the major complaint for Arcane's talent tree last build. Was hey, we don't have enough points to take utility. There's too much bloat in the tree, and they added more bloat to the tree. So yeah, these don't really matter. Not interesting. This is good because it's probably going to proc your Arcane Echoes. So we just have another way to proc Arcane Echoes consistently that we used to have with Nether Tempest. Arcane Explosion is really weak. This doesn't generate a Arcane Charge, and it's 50% effectiveness, and it already doesn't really do that much damage. So this seems like a pretty bad talent. But you never know. Maybe if you're doing like some cleave situation, it's okay. Gaining clear casting increases your intellect by 1%, and multiple instances may overlap. This is gaining clear casting, just to be clear. It's not consuming it, it's gaining it. This is very RNG. It's kind of boring. Like you just, I gained clear casting, randomly have 1% more intellect, which isn't that much. Don't really know why this exists. Not a very interesting talent. Each time you cast Arcane Explosion, its damage increases by 25%, resets upon reaching 100% damage. You cast Arcane Explosion like every every 10 seconds if you're lucky, or if you're unlucky in AoE. So, and it doesn't really do that much damage. This is an okay talent, kind of boring. You probably won't take it, but yeah. This is really bad. This is really bad. So damage from arcane missiles has a 20% chance to give you one arcane charge. Chances increase by 5% every time it fails. We don't need charge generation, and this thing literally blocks Harmony. Like what? Why are you blocking Harmony? Why is this a third gate talent? This wouldn't even be worth taking if it was a first gate talent. In fact, if you could path through it and there's a way to avoid it, you would in the first gate. This is not a good talent, and it's one of the only ways to Harmony. Speaking of which, they also locked Harmony behind Arcane Debilitation again, which is a 2-point talent, which is pretty hard to invest in. Now a 4 points down to get down to Harmony. You need 2 here, 1 here, and Arcane Harmony. That's pretty rough. I think they're trying to do a bit of a clearer split again between like this is your barrage build, this is your missiles build. Even though Aether Attunement is really easy to get, so that's fine. I just don't think the missiles build really competes that well compared to the barrage build, because the barrage build gets all these like single target nodes that are pretty strong as well. And then this is like, these are just mediocre for single target and everything. So anyway, yeah, they buffed Arcane Blast, and the fact that this is gaining clear casting, and the fact that they empowered Nether Precision more, means we're even more likely to cancel our Arcane Missiles again. So it's not really I don't think that's the direction people wanted them to go into, because I think most people don't like canceling Arcane Missiles. because it just causes you to spend more mana. It's just maybe potentially unintuitive and dumb that your proc is worse than your filler. So yeah, all these changes just incentivize you to cancel Arcane Missiles again. They nerfed base clear casting proc chance. We'll see how that does. They gave it bad luck protection. That seems good. Just should be good. They nerf these when they should be removed from the game because they're in a pretty bad spot of just like end of gate 2 talents. Or actually, is this the start of gate 3? No, end of gate 2 talents is just, that's not an interesting spot for it to go to. One good change they did is they made it so you can't path from Surging Urge into Touch of the Magi, because the fact that you could meant that it was pretty likely that Slipstream was going to be a damage loss. Now, Slipstream will probably still be a damage loss, maybe not as significant of one, but since you have to take it to go to Touch the Magi, and Mana Depth isn't that good, so never mind, you're good. You'll just never have to talent out of it, which is nice. They just mega nerf fire. It's kind of been outperforming what they wanted probably, and them making the Living Bomb playstyle work with Ignite, and like you can do it at the same time. It's literally the Ignite playstyle, but with a different spell doing all the AoE damage. So I don't really know how they expect that to play out differently, but obviously they're just gonna nerf it to the ground because you can't do your single target rotation and then just do super competitive AoE. We'll see. Yeah, they might fail their tuning goals, just like with Ignite. However, with Living Bomb, it's a separate spell, so it's probably kind of easy for them to tune it, or easier for them to tune it than Ignite without gutting single target. So yeah. For Frost, they made some controversial changes. Everyone on the forums has basically been saying, hey, please rework Death's Chill and Fractured Frost and Cold Front. And they doubled down on it, and they didn't even make good changes, really. So here, they just increased the percentage spell power you get for Frostbolt to 2% instead of 1, but now it only stacks 10 times. In AoE, this is kind of significant, because you only get cast it 3 times to get, almost full value, right? Because you would hit 9 enemies after 3 casts, and then you have 9 stacks. So that's pretty good. The issue with Death's Chill, if you're looking at it from like I can take this in AoE situation, is we already spend extra points in our third gate for AoE, right? We have to take Freezing Rain and Cold Snap, and to get to Cold Snap, you actually also have to path through Freezing Winds. But to get to Death's Chill, you have to take Slick Ice, and we have talent points that we almost never want to drop in our third gate, those being Splitting Ice and Hailstones, because they're essentially core functional pieces for our class to work. So we are down 2 points on the third gate already. So yeah, we definitely don't want to take Slick Ice. And there's just no other way to get this. It would be better if this was, like under Fractured Frost. Like just put it and Cold Front under Fractured Frost. And then if you want, put Ray Frost and like split the choice nodes, and then there's 2 nodes here. And then, it's symmetrical because they left their symmetry in their talent nodes. But yeah. Fractured Frost, all they did was they add 15% increased damage to it, which, the problem with this playstyle, right, is the fact that most of your damage from it comes from Cold Front, from getting the extra orbs out, and none of these talents do anything for you when you're out of Icy Veins. Like, if you look at the Cold Front playstyle, you're taking Fractured Frost, you're taking Slick Ice, you're taking Death's Chill. That's 3 third gate talents that only function inside Icy Veins, and they're not even that strong. The playstyle-wise, it just feels absolutely horrible for you to play Cold Front, leave Icy Veins, and there's just no way you're getting your stacks off in a reasonable amount of time. If they really want to keep this playstyle and not, change it to something that better suits Frost's gameplay, like a combination of Ice Lance and Flurry, then Fractured Frost needs to just be available. The base version of it should just be something that's always available. Like, I say it's literally every time I talk about Fractured Frost reworks, but, every 5 seconds you get a stack of Fractured Frost, lets your Ice Frostbolts cleave and deal 15% increased damage, and it stacks up to 4 times. And in Icy Veins, you just have unlimited stacks. Then when you're out of Icy Veins, you don't have a degenerate Frostbolt spam playstyle, but you're still able to build your Cold Front stacks at a reasonable pace without it being disruptive to your rotation. But they don't really want to do that for some reason. And then they buffed Ice Lance, probably to incentivize a non-Glacial Spike playstyle. It's worth knowing whenever they just buff like Iceland's flat damage, this just makes Mastery worse. So we'll see. We might be avoiding a bit of Mastery Season 1 if we don't go Glacial Spike. But yeah, those are all the thoughts. You can let me know how you're feeling in the comments. And then, there's a lot of feedback on the forums. I like this guy's extremely loud, incorrect buzzer noise. So, yep. Hopefully the changes next week are better. I think primarily like Arcane Tree was a lot better last week than it is this week. There's just a lot of problems with it, and there's just too much filler talent, so we don't really need. Particularly how the third gate is structured, like around Harmony, is pretty bad. So, anyway, have a good day.